Thank you very much. Moving on to our next session that talks about innovative approaches to ESG integration. I would like to call upon stage Mr. Suresh Kotla, Senior Partner at KP Climate Consulting Private Limited, to share his thoughts on the same. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And I believe we are here because we care. We care not just for our country, but for the planet. And I think one interesting quote that I would like to start with, that I see in my daughter's room is that we have inherited the planet not from our ancestors, but we have borrowed it from our children. And, that really excites me and gives me a lot of inspiration to not just work on this subject, but also talk about it. My name is Suresh Kotla, and I'm the Senior Partner for KP Climate and Consulting. KP Climate and Consulting is a very recent startup. It was just launched last year. Very briefly about KP Climate Consulting, we are part of KP Group of companies. KP IT, one of the renowned KP Group companies, which is a listed automobile tech company that works in the mobility sector. KP Chartered Accountants and Kirtan and Pandit Consulting. So we were launched with a vision of building a climate resilient future for India by enabling businesses, government institutions, and communities. And it's our privilege to be able to partner with Transformance Events for this awards summit. And it's my pleasure to also listen to different experts from different industries. The kind of services that we are looking at providing to our stakeholders, we focus on decarbonization and energy solutions. We all know our country has committed to net zero. This net zero commitment is going to translate into net zero policies that are soon going to be launched. They're all in making right now. We are looking at net zero advisory as one of our core services. ESG, of course, no need to talk about that much, but I do believe that ESG integration is very key to businesses being able to get the results that we all know ESG can really help us get. And then climate finance, this is an interesting area. We really want to specialize in this because we believe that India is yet to receive the volume of climate finance that's out there available globally to many other nations, but it's not flowing into India as yet at the rate we would really like it to be. And so we would like to play a role in facilitating the flow of climate finance into India by working on different mechanisms with international financial institutions, multilateral development banks, and a range of other private equity funds, venture capital funds. Fourth service area, which is, of course, a very recent trend, carbon markets, although, it's not new to the businesses here. But in India, last year, government announced that India is going to open its carbon market, and the frameworks and all the guidelines are under works right now, and soon the carbon markets are going to open. So we are looking at working closely with the government, with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and businesses to enable them so that they can really benefit from the carbon markets. The theme that I'll be talking about today is ESG integration, and we'll be looking at innovative strategies and approaches to integrating ESG into core business strategies. Now, I think many of us are familiar with these frameworks, different reporting frameworks, global goals and principles, different ratings and verification standards. That TCFD has been disbanded, but most of the other we are very familiar with. And many of us probably have been reporting or have been complying with many of these reporting disclosures. We all know India is committed to net zero, and as I mentioned, in my previous role, I was working with the Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Railways. They're all looking at putting together a net zero vision, net zero roadmap, which will ultimately translate into net zero policies. While many Indian organizations are taking steps to reduce their carbon footprint, not all organizations have clearly defined roadmaps and strategies in place to mitigate the emissions within their own supply chains. At the same time, be resilient to face the climate risks that are already there. Now, moving on, I would like to take a look at the ESG preparedness of Indian companies, and a survey was conducted which looked at different aspects of ESG preparedness. 88% of the organizations believed sustainability regulations will directly impact their businesses. About 75% organizations agreed that ESG is a boardroom discussion. And nearly 90% organizations believed ESG reporting will have an impact on their brand reputation. About 75% organizations stated that their investors look at their ESG performance. And about 71% businesses agreed that their organizations voluntarily participate in ESG ratings. And almost 60% organizations placed high level of importance on establishing ambitious ESG goals for their future. But how much of this is translating into action? How much of this positive narrative that's been there around ESG is translating into action? If you look at the next slide, only 27% businesses are well prepared to meet ESG requirements due to different aspects such as lack of capacity or lack of enough investment. Only 15% organizations, suppliers are ESG ready. We all know scope 1, scope 2 is within our control, but scope 3 gets challenging. Less than half, about 49% of the organizations are well aware of ESG reporting mechanisms and regulations that are there in India. And while 83% organizations have designated sustainability leader, the challenge is having internal ESG champions and ambassadors and sustainability leaders who have the necessary skills. And about 68% organizations surveyed, they were able to formally integrate ESG strategies and mechanisms into their organizations, but are on different phases of maturity. And I know we will be talking about that through the day. Most organizations, about 80%, report their ESG efforts. And the most prevalent method is sustainability reports, which is now BRSR. We all know that. Nearly 75% organizations cited that their organizations communicates their ESG efforts to their stakeholders, to investors, and a range of other partners. And the most common method for that is either through a report or through annual meetings and different investor decks. If you look at the investors' focus on ESG performance across sectors, we'll see that the biggest attention is to sectors like financial services, energy resources and industries, and the technology sector. But if you see the green on this slide, you will see that how the investors, this is a very big indicator. The investors are looking at ESG performance before they make their decisions on how much money they would like to invest, what would be the rate of interest, and different other aspects, the terms and conditions of the investments these companies make. Now, talking about the ESG maturity spectrum, and I would really request those of us who are on the ESG journey to look at the spectrum and see where do you stand. And of course, there are many other spectrums and many other maturity curves you must have seen, but we have tried to put this in 5 segments. The first one being the starting phase, where a company is it wants to have the license to, or social license to operate, and they're compliant with ESG regulations. They're doing their reporting and disclosures. That's the starting phase. Commitment phase, where they are making commitments, and apart from compliance and reporting, there are some limited number of sustainable products or initiatives within the company. That's the commitment stage where companies are committed, but there's a minimum ESG practice that's being followed. The third one is they've fully embraced ESG, and they're looking at growing, and so they have done the ESG mapping, materiality assessment. They're using their strengths to deliver increased value across different goals, and they've set metrics in place. Major investments are being made by the company across ESG priority areas. There are goals and short-term targets and ESG metrics in place, and importantly, systems and data collection is there, in place. The fourth segment, the fourth stage is innovation or innovating companies. Companies that are investing in ESG impact evaluation, they're not just setting the metrics, but they're also evaluating how they're doing, and they're continuously improving. Companies that are investing in R&D and are slowly not just looking at end-of-the-pipe solutions, but also looking at start-of-the-pipe solutions where they want to come out with greener products and greener service offerings, where the focus is not just reducing the emissions after they've been produced, but how we can reduce our emissions at the design stage. So that's the innovation stage. And the final one, which we would all like to be in, which is ESG leadership. And ESG integration is very key to that, where we look at integrating ESG strategy with the core business strategy, looking at better reputation with investors and stakeholders, which means that we are not just reporting for the sake of reporting, but making sure that there are third-party impact evaluations of our ESG performance that is shared across the stakeholders, embedding ESG in capital and resource allocation, and ESG performance-linked employee incentives and evaluations in place. A lot of companies are already doing that, but I think this is a sign of a company that is leading in ESG area. And last but not the least, improving sustainability outcomes internally and externally. If we move on to the next slide, and I'll pause here, you would all agree with me that ESG is evolving rapidly, and the number of expectations from different stakeholders, including the government, the investors, the shareholders, international initiatives, the countries businesses export to, they are all having an implication for companies, and these are all rapidly evolving, and there are a lot of pain points, and that's why KP Climate Consulting would like to really assist the businesses. The four key pain points that we found include getting adequate resources and traction and integration internally within the business, meeting the demands of existing ESG reporting regulation, the complex metric systems, the quantitative metric system as well as the qualitative metric systems, establishing and monitoring metrics to assess impact of the ESG programs, impact evaluation, and getting recognition from the market for ESG performance. So I'll pause here. This was an attempt to take you through different approaches and different aspects of ESG maturity that a company goes through, and how we can actually integrate ESG into core business strategy. Thank you.